Welcome to the latest episode of Inside Procurement, the SmartCube's forum for looking at the ideas, trends, and developments that are influencing the leaders and functions that we work with today. In this video, I wanted to kick off the new year in classic New Year fashion, with predictions as to what we can expect in 2021 across the procurement world. Now, 2020 certainly wasn't short on challenges. For organizations of all sizes and in all industries, the last year provided a valuable lesson in crisis management, demanding new ways of working and new levels of agility. I'm sure I'm not the only one that hopes 2021 will provide a slightly sunnier outlook, but it would be naive to think that the challenges of 2020 are behind us. After all, pandemics and their related fallouts don't normally adhere to the Gregorian calendar. That said, there is light at the end of the tunnel. With several COVID vaccines now rolling out, it's unlikely that we'll face quite the same level of disruption that we've experienced over the past 12 months. For that reason, it's with a sense of cautious optimism that I've compiled a list of 4 procurement trends that I expect to dominate the next year, along with some thoughts on what procurement leaders should be thinking about to make sure 2021 is a successful year. As much as the recent vaccine news has seen us turn a corner with COVID-19, we're still some way away from business as usual. Vaccine rollout poses huge logistical challenges, and it's not entirely clear what the take-up will be. We also don't really know how the economy will react when restrictions are lifted. Will there be an immediate resurgence in the job market? Will an air of caution continue to affect hiring policies for some time to come? Or will companies use the pandemic as a means to reset their needs for the long term? For now at least, uncertainty still reigns. And for that reason, I expect risk management to be the primary consideration for procurement practitioners throughout 2021. We've seen this all before, of course. In the recession of 2008, risk was a major focus. But back then, there were no structured risk management solutions that could be quickly implemented to mitigate risks and threats. And so once economies started to see an uptick, issues of risk were deprioritized, not forgotten. Today, the organizations have plenty of options in this regard, from basic one-size-fits-all software solutions to more sophisticated solutions that integrate tech, analytics, and human expertise to provide custom insights into categories, suppliers, and markets. In 2021, I expect to see forward-thinking organizations take a tiered approach to deploying these solutions, managing risk based on each supplier's strategic value to the business. For instance, for suppliers that hold little value, automation can be used to drive governance by exception, highlighting anomalies that should be investigated more deeply. For highly strategic suppliers, on the other hand, ongoing programs must be put in place to monitor vital parameters, including performance, operations, competition, governance, and sustainability. Of course, the best way to battle uncertainty is with organizational agility. And over the last year, many procurement organizations have proven, beyond doubt, that they have what it takes to be agile. When everything changed in March, we saw procurement practitioners band together, support broader task forces within their companies, and provide the intelligence and actionable insights that allowed important decisions to be made more quickly. And in doing so, they helped their organizations tackle numerous unexpected challenges, like lockdowns causing logistics bottlenecks and suppliers disappearing from their ecosystems. Uncertainty will continue to be a major feature of the year ahead, and so I suspect agility will continue to be a focus throughout 2021 as well. The traditional approach of building a playbook at the beginning of the year and sticking with it just isn't going to cut it. Sure, you still need a playbook, don't get me wrong, but organizations need to be scenario-driven too. And they have to know that at any given time, they may have to turn on a dime and start moving in a different direction. True agility, in this sense, requires a complete change of mindset. Practitioners have to think in terms of multiple scenarios and probabilistic outcomes, and incorporate highly flexible processes. They must also maintain close alignment with internal stakeholders to ensure a clear understanding of their ongoing needs. A foundational shift in the practitioner's mindset is to become more insight-led. And in recent years, we've seen a clear move in this direction, both at an overall functional level, but more critically at an individual level. In fact, one of the few positives of the pandemic is that a lot of organizations have started to see the strategic value procurement can deliver as a function, especially in terms of responding to change and managing risk in uncertain environments. And without exception, this was based in the practitioner's ability to understand the business, assess the implications of external and internal intelligence, and apply the implications as actionable insight to the betterment of the internal customer. To capitalize on this, astute practitioners will continue to position themselves as trusted advisors. But that's only possible if they have a complete understanding of two things: the needs of the internal customers they serve and the categories that they work in. Essentially, procurement teams are no longer there to process contracts and cut POs. Their job now is to understand dynamic markets and proactively identify the best responses to change. This requires timely access to external and internal data, and of course, the ability to turn that data into intelligence. But it also requires a different skill set than the one procurement organizations traditionally have focused on. Soft skills, like the ability to communicate, negotiate, and understand and translate issues almost exactly as an external consultant would, will be of huge importance. For many, this might sound revolutionary, the brave new world of procurement. But progressive organizations are already moving in this direction, and some have been doing this for a while. One other major trend that we've seen this year in response to the challenging conditions is a greater level of collaboration from procurement with its external partners. And I expect this to continue through 2021 and beyond. The old DIY mentality, for example, my category leaders should be taking care of this themselves, is quite simply outdated. And there are no lone rangers in modern procurement anymore. And we cannot reasonably expect to have access to all the needed capabilities in-house. It's just not possible. Quite simply, for practitioners to fulfill the agile, insight-led roles I've discussed so far, they must form an ecosystem of mutually beneficial partnerships, or face certain failure. Like all of the trends that we've covered, forming these partnerships will require a change in mentality. Traditionally adversarial relationships with suppliers, where procurement organizations would battle for the lowest price, must be replaced with a more open book and collaborative attitude to working. Practitioners can no longer afford to keep suppliers at arm's length, but instead must embrace a culture of openness, freely sharing data and information for everyone's benefit. This ecosystem mentality is something that I've seen increasingly understood and adopted since March of last year, and is one that I believe is going to become a hygiene factor for the function. All right, that wraps up this video. As always, we'd love to hear your thoughts and perspectives. Do you agree? Do you disagree with any of our comments? Send us a note with your feedback. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button. If you'd like to hear more from us, hit the subscribe button. And if you'd like to reach out, email us at info@thesmartcube.com. This was Inside Procurement.